Hello and welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for watching and listening. However you're accessing this show, thank you, thank you, thank you. You can find it on all of your podcast apps, however you listen in, at Tools to Create a Better Life. And I also have one that has 200 and some shows called The Glenyce Show. So it doesn't get added to anymore. This is where the new content comes. But if you're looking for other stuff, other awesomeness, go check out The Glenyce Show on your podcast app. Or you can go to my webpage, glenycehughes.com, and you'll see there's a spot that says radio show. Click that. You'll see them all there. Oh my gosh. And we're everywhere now, guys. I mean, we're absolutely everywhere, pretty much. Unless it's a different language, then no, I'm just English. So there we go. Okay, what are we going to talk about this week? Yeah. Are you willing to ask even when you know it's a no? I know, right? So this is kind of a funny concept, but a lot of times we are so aware, well, all the time we are so aware, and we often are aware of what the person's response will be if we're going to ask them a question. So we don't ask them a question when we know it's going to be a no, because we've decided that no is the worst thing ever. Yeah. Right? I know. It's ridiculous, really, when you think about it like this. But I know for myself, I have done this more than anything else in my life in terms of refusing to ask when I'm aware it's a no. And this was even years before I knew anything about awareness. I just knew it was a no. So I didn't want to ask. I didn't want to make them uncomfortable. I didn't want to receive a no. I didn't want to be rejected. I mean, I've got all the reasons and justifications. But here's the thing, guys. Questions create the awareness. Questions open the doors to possibilities. Questions can change anything. So you may be aware it's a no, but you may not be aware of how much it could change their world if you were willing to ask it. Yeah, and not even just about them. It could change your world by the willingness to ask. What might that create? And so I've been really, I was going to say challenging, but that's actually not the right match of energy. Inspiring myself to do that more as I've become more and more aware of how much I'll stop myself and what it actually creates. And I am aware of what it creates in their world too, because if you don't ask the question, if you don't ask them, then they're not even aware of the possibility. So I want to share a story from years ago. This was I'd probably only been studying the tools of access consciousness for a year or two, maybe tops. I was fairly new to it. And I went to a class and this woman was talking about how she wanted to ask someone she'd met if they wanted to go on a date. So this woman speaking was a lesbian. And so she wanted to ask this female to go on a date, but she knew the female wasn't a lesbian. So she didn't ask because she knew the answer would be no. And yet, when she was sharing this story, and Gary, who's the founder of Access Consciousness, was conversing with her, he just said, but you took away her chance to be with that question. You took away the possibility that it might have created, and not from the place of so to make her say yes, but if you're interested, what if you let her choose? Yeah, right? And you've heard me talk before, I'm sure, about superior bitching. So when we don't allow someone else to choose, or we attempt to override their choice, where we, maybe our kid comes to get on the bus and they're dressed differently than we would like, and we send them back to go change. And, basically we're not allowing them to have the awareness that their choice would create. So a lot of times we're going to choose that when we're much younger, and then once we get on the school bus or go to school and we find that people are laughing at us or pointing or whatever, that's when we start making different choices. Now, I'm not saying that example is right. I'm not saying that we should allow other people to decide for us what we should wear. I know I have many people who don't maybe think I should wear my eyelashes like this or all the things, but you get the idea, right? When we take that choice away from somebody, and it was no different than that woman who wouldn't ask the other woman out. She, in a sense, took away that choice, at least the choice with her. So it really comes, I was outside recording some videos and I could see my hair is all a little wonky. Anyway, so squirrel. So we want to look at that and really allow people to choose for them. And so I recently had the chance to actually really do this and ask a group of people something that I knew they would prefer not to be asked. And I asked anyway. I did some clearings on myself. I got to the place where I was willing to allow them to be uncomfortable. I mean, what does that allow them? But that was the energy that I was going into it. Like, oh, I can't ask them. They're going to want to say no, but they don't know how to say no. So they don't want, like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, my only job is to ask the questions of whatever and whoever when I would like to. And really, they get to respond however they would like to respond. So it becomes this totally different space of what is actually possible and what are we actually gifting ourselves and other people. Now, years ago, I was in a class, I think it was 2014, 2013, and it was called Right Voice for You. So if you're familiar with the classes in Access Consciousness, there's the Right Voice for You one. And we were all staying at a hotel. And it's so funny because a lot of us, when throughout the day, the facilitator realized that a lot of us were not willing to receive a no. So what that does is it ensures that you don't ever ask. Because if you're not willing to receive a no, you're not going to ask. So what she did was she gave us home play. And she said, you guys need to go and get 5 no's tonight. And I was horrified. Like, what? No, I can't. Oh my gosh. I felt like I had this really strong muscle of knowing when it was a no in somebody's world. So then I didn't ask. But that's actually not a muscle. That's really just a way to stop yourself. So we went out and we went looking for no's. And I'll tell you, at this point, I don't remember. What I do remember is very hard to get no's. Like, people don't like to say it. As much as we don't like to receive it, people don't like to say no either. What I do remember, though, is my friend was desperate to at least get 1 no, because everything she was asking for of people in the class, random strangers in the hotel, she was getting yeses to. And so she's like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna go ask the most ridiculous thing I can think right now. So she really liked the comforter, like the duvet in the hotel. So she went to the front desk and said, hey guys, I really like the duvet. Do you mind if I take it home? They said yes. And she's like, that's it. I cannot get a no. Like she said, I have spent my entire life avoiding a no and really jumping. What we do energetically is we jump into the other person's universe. We check in. What are they going to say? Oh, it's a no. And we step out. And that's exhausting, guys. Plus, it's very unkind. It's unkind to us and it's unkind to them. Going back to that woman who didn't ask the woman out, like, really? What if that was a possibility? And I'm sorry, but nobody knows unless the person verbally tells them what what they prefer sexually, or maybe she would have tried it out. Maybe she'd been like, hey, this sounds like, who knows? So if we stop deciding that it's a no and allowing that to stop us from asking, truly what else is possible then? Like truly. And I have received some really, I'm going to say really big asks of people like, hey, would you mind if I come to your foundation class for free? I remember years and years and years ago, I got a request. The woman wanted to have a session with me, but she didn't have the money. Her husband was the one who brought the money in, and he didn't want it going to a session. And so what she offered me was a quilt. She would make me a quilt for her session. Now, if I was looking for a quilt, I would have said yes. However, I didn't need a quilt. So I said no. And I was excited with myself that I was willing to say no. And I was really excited with her that she was willing to ask. And there have been times where I've been annoyed, offended. I'm not sure what the right word would be, but like, how could they ask that? But guess what? I only have that response because I'm not willing to ask it. So we only judge what we're not willing to be and what we're not willing to receive. And so in those cases, I mean, I would never, I shouldn't say never, but honestly, in this 10 seconds, I would never ask someone if I could have their, a foundation class for free. I would never, talk to Gary and Dane and see if they'd give me a class of theirs for free. I just wouldn't in this 10 seconds. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's me. So when I get those requests, I can sometimes have that reaction of, oh my God, what are they doing? But really, they're willing to receive a no. Oh my gosh. Like, how expansive is that for us when we're willing to receive a no and willing to ask even when we know it's a no? Because what I saw when I asked that group was that initially it was a no for some of them. It still is for some of them, but there's some that it is invited to a whole different possibility. And that ultimately, when I look at what I would like more of on the planet, is for every person to know that something else is possible. So we've got to be willing to ask. For people to be able to be, and not people, for ourselves, because we're not doing this for other people. I keep using them as an example, but I don't mean it that way. I don't mean that you should ask for other people so they get possibilities. I don't mean that. I'm looking at, let's not stop ourselves anymore. Let's ask what we would like to ask, be willing to receive the no, and not take it personal. And I did a show not that long ago about tools to stop taking it personal. So this may go hand in hand with it, because if somebody says no, it doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't actually mean anything about them, except that it just doesn't work for them. Like, we don't need to add stories to it, but looking at when we stop ourselves from asking, and you could ask, I've heard Simone Millis's, and she does the choice of possibilities. She used to be the worldwide coordinator with Access, so she works a lot with Gary and Dane and Brendan, all of them doing classes together and stuff. And I've heard her say recently in a few classes I've been in with her of like, what if you just like ask, what's the worst thing that could happen? And I was just like, wow. And in one, it was a conversation I was having with the four of them around letting go of control in the business. And she was like, what's the worst that could happen? And I'm like, God, nothing. Like nothing. Okay, so, let's say somebody makes a mistake in the business or something, but there's not even such thing as a mistake. Everybody gets to learn from that. It's the same as asking. We all get open up to possibilities when we're willing to ask. And there's going to be people when you ask that go straight to judgment, and it's like a big barrier comes up and it's a big no. Okay, cool. It gives them information if they would like that information. And if they don't want that information, who the fuck cares? Like really, I just, I think of all the years that I've been aware of this and that I've kind of played with and toyed with and kind of dipped my toe in, and now I just have so much more freedom around it in recognizing that when we don't ask, it's what limits us. Not, it's not some great trophy we should have that we know when it's a yes or a no from somebody. Like, what if we were willing to ask no matter what? Whew, yeah. So So everything that just brought up, well, you destroy and uncreate it all and return it to sender with consciousness. Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah. So just for those of you watching the video, I'm just going to say I'm upstairs. We have a loft in our house. And when we were moving in 3 years ago, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been that long. This was the room we were the most excited about. And the swimming pool. Of course, swimming pool, number one. But this room, in terms of rooms in the house, this is the one we were most excited about. And let me tell you what, this is the least used room in our house. And recently I've been looking for a better place to have better lighting and kind of stuff around me. And I thought of this room. And so this is my trial run with it. And I think it works pretty well. It's just kind of natural light. And anyway, so if you're not watching it on video, you won't understand what I'm talking about. But if you are, there's all of hubby's, it's a painting of a street in Tenterden, England, where he's from. And we've got family pictures of his family up there. And of course, our old cat climber that needed to be somewhat retired, but we weren't ready to throw it out. So it came up here. So anyway, there we go. So we're talking about asking and being willing to ask even when you know it's a no. Because sometimes, and I know this will be shocking to you guys, but sometimes we are basing what we know on points of views. So it's not actually that we know it, it's that we've decided it or we're judging it. So much like that gal who wasn't willing to ask the other woman about going on a date, she didn't actually know. It was based on her decisions and judgments. Maybe the woman said, you know, all the men she's dated, or maybe, you know, who knows what she said about it, but she didn't actually know. Because there's a lot of times a person doesn't even know that they're interested in the same sex or both sexes until they know. So really, even when you think you know, do you really know? Or is it when you ask that it actually opens up the door to the possibilities? Yeah, that one. That one. Yeah. So everything that you haven't been willing to ask because you decided it was a no and you decided you would be wrong if you got a no, will you destroy and uncreate it all and return it to sender with consciousness? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And that is the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. So you can go to 𝐻𝐫𝐞𝐴𝐻.com for more information on how it works if you are interested. There's so much great information there. So, yeah. Because truly, what might be possible if you were willing to ask no matter what? In fact, as I say that, I wonder how many people don't ask the universe for what they would like because they've already decided it's a no. Whoa. Holy, my sweet friends. Okay, well then, this is a whole different conversation now. I mean, it's one thing not to ask another person, but if you're not willing to ask the universe for the new lover, for $1 million, for fun, for joy with your body, whatever it might be, if you're not willing to ask that because you've decided, oh boy. So everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it all and return it to sender with consciousness? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So what have you been refusing to ask for that if you would ask for it would change your entire life, living, and reality? Everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, receive, and ask for it, will you destroy and uncreate it all, return to sender with consciousness? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Holy doodle bops, my friends. Right? Like, wow. And then how much does that feed into what you've already decided? So I can't have $1 million. So I won't ask for $1 million because I can't have $1 million. And then you secretly would like $1 million, but when it doesn't show up, it's because you can't have it and you can't ask for it because you can't. Oh my gosh. So if that reads for you, if kind of that like spinning and not asking and really would like it, but then can't have it, and like if that actually spins for you, if that reads for you, if that kind of like, oh my gosh, this, then let's use the tool right now. It's called the crazy phrase. I love this tool for so many things, specifically this energy when there's so many different energies that are going on. There's so many different things we could go and clear because they're all like crazy. So this is where I love to use it. So what you want to do is you want to bring up that energy. So all the, I can't have it, but I'd really like it, but I'm wrong and I can't ask for it. And if I ask for it, I'll never get it. And I don't want to ask for it because I'll never get it. And then I'll be wrong. And I don't like that energy. And now together, everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. And nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. That's the crazy phrase. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. And nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. Nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. And you just do that over and over until it changes it, and I can just perceive that the energy has shifted. Now, there doesn't mean it's gone forever. There might still be bits and pieces you want to work on. The other thing that I love the crazy phrase for is when you are doing, when you're in bed and you're not able to fall asleep and your body's asking to fall asleep, but your head is going, I know it's not just me. Then I will just use the crazy phrase over and over until I fall asleep. So I use it there. I use it when I'm being crazy. I use it when other people are being crazy around me. Oh my gosh, it's such an amazing tool. Yeah. So what if you did, like, what if you just started inspiring yourself to ask for 5 different things every day for the next 10 days or so? And like 5 different things. So don't ask for 5 things today and then the same 5 tomorrow, like 5 different things every day for that long. Because what'll occur is you're gonna really have to push yourself. The first few days, you'll probably be like things you're maybe already willing to ask for, but then you will get to where it's like, ooh, I can't, ooh. So that'll bring up energy for you. And then you can use just the clearing statement when it comes up. You could use the crazy phrase, or you could use my all-time favorite. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view, just to get into the space of asking. And then also, please guys, be aware of the people you're not willing to ask and what you're not willing to ask for. Where you stop yourself, not because then you get to judge you, but it actually becomes really great information. Like really, really great information. Because if you know that every time you go to ask your friend, to help you with something, then it just could become, oh gosh, I remember that one time I asked her and she said no and was mad or something. Like it'll just give you some information that you could clear and then just check in. And I don't mean you have to like force yourself to ask everybody around you everything. That's not it at all. But it's also the willingness to be aware of when you're stopping yourself, when you're not asking what you'd like to ask, and all the places you're not willing to receive the no's. Yeah, like what is the most extreme ask you could ask? How much fun could you have asking that? And how much magic would it be to receive it? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can you and your body be to be the audacious asker that you truly be, and the audacious receiver that you truly be? Anything that doesn't allow that to show up as if by magic, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Thank you so much for listening or watching. If you love it, guys, I would love for you to share this. I would love this to get out. around the world, even more in whatever platform that you listen. I am so grateful for you. If you listen on iTunes, I would love, love, love for you to go and give a 5-star review or whatever review. I mean, hey, whatever you'd like to do, but I would just love you to go and review it. It really just helps it get out more. It shows up in more people's feeds and recommendation lists. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have an awesome rest of your week, and I look forward to chatting again soon.